You need to remove that snow and get it out of there. And this is where we bring some of that.
A snowy winter paving the way for a pothole-packed spring. It's already a busy time of year for MassDOT, but now the agency is also navigating other roadblocks like the state's service plazas.
I don't think it's a setback because this was all in the course of the timeline.
This morning, Highway Administrator Jonathan Gulliver goes on the record about the rest stop redo, an expensive winter, and the big projects impacting you.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Beacon Hill to Capitol Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
And good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, March 22nd. Thanks for being with us. I'm Ben Cimino, and joining us at the table this morning is Undersecretary of Transportation and Highway Administrator Jonathan Gulliver. Jonathan, thanks for your time. Good to see you.
All right, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
All right, so the state, as you well know, is once again searching for an operator, a construction manager and an operator to fix and operate the 18 highway service plazas across the Commonwealth. Last year, a deal with Ireland-based Apple Green had collapsed after a lawsuit alleging an unfair process filed by another bidder. This time, the search will include oversight from a public-private partnership commission. Are you worried that you might not have enough interest after the deal fell apart last year?
No, we've had incredible interest, and I think we expect we're going to have a industry day on the 25th. We have over 50 different vendors now coming into that, so we have a really good interest in this project. We've done a lot of things to make sure that it's going to be as competitive as possible. That you've just mentioned the P3 Commission. Public-private partnership is a way to get the best of both worlds. It's the way to do the real estate deal, and it's also a way to do the construction in a way that gets us best value. So in addition to doing that, we have split up the service plazas into 3 different groups, 2 on the turnpike and 1 off. So we've made them into a little bit more bite-sized pieces, which we're really, we think is going to really increase competition for these.
Oh, so that was my question. So you do have 3 separate groups here. What are you hoping to attract? Do you think you might get some smaller operators that can't do all 18 at once?
Yeah, when we did the after action on the last procurement and really looked around at like what happened and how things could go better, one of the pieces of feedback that we got is that it was a big procurement. It was over $1 billion in total, and with 18 different service plazas, that's a lot of places, a lot of space to manage. And that means that the number of vendors that can handle something that big is not as big of a group as we'd like it to be. So by narrowing it down to 3 different areas, so roughly 7 in each area, you now get some bite-sized pieces that some smaller firms can compete on as well.
When do you think they'll be finished?
So our expectation is right now is that we are going to go through the procurement. We're issuing our request for proposals this spring. That will take through the end of the calendar year, through the end of 26, before we have an actual selection in place for all 3 of those service plaza areas. We will then do a transition to them, and they will be starting up and taking control of those service plazas in July of 2027. Their actual schedule, we won't really know it until we get them on board, but I'd expect sometime in that calendar year, 2027 and into 2028, they will be getting into construction on each one of those service plazas and giving them a much needed refresh.
All right, it's the most wonderful time of the year for road work. We're talking about pothole season in Massachusetts and New England. This year's headaches came a little early due to the timing of storms. We had a very cold winter. Is MassDOT responding accordingly to meet the demand?
We are. This is going to be an especially bad year for potholes, I expect. We had, again, a very cold winter. We had a lot of snow. You mix those 2 things together, that just creates potholes. You know, you have, especially now this time of year where you have that freeze-thaw cycle happening throughout the day, where we have the warmer days and the colder nights, that just creates potholes all over the place. So it's going to be a tough year for them.
Perfect segue to the next question. You mentioned the snow. We had a pretty rough winter, at least the worst in probably 4 or 5 years. We had 2 monster storms, one of which was a blizzard at the end of February. You said, you're on record saying that this winter's cleanup tab could actually outpace that awful winter of 2014, 2015. So where does that stand? How much over budget are you at this point? And do you have to go back to the legislature and ask for more money?
Yes, we will have to go back to the legislature to get some supplemental budgeting done. We've already started that process. We are right now on pace to exceed about $180 million. And that's
$180 million over total?
180 million total.
Okay.
Right?
In snow removal.
Right. And to put that in perspective, 2015 we ended up being around 150 million. So we've already exceeded that amount. And winter's not done with us yet. I want it to be. I want it to be more than anybody, believe me. But we usually have about 2 or 3 weeks left that we're going to have to do some road treatment for nighttime icing and such too. So that number's going to go up.
Let's talk about that blizzard at the end of February. We saw a travel ban in a couple of counties, 4 counties, I believe, that the governor put in place. We know the forecast on that was changing late, even up to 12 or 24 hours before the storm, before the snow actually started flying. Do you think the state was prepared enough?
We were prepared. I mean, that was an amazing storm. I mean, I've been doing this job now for close to a decade, and I've gone through a number of winters even before that when I was in Worcester. And this was an amazing storm. That was one of the worst ones I can remember seeing in my career. The amount of snow that dropped on southeastern Massachusetts was just incredible. And it was we pivoted pretty early in that storm to redirect all our forces down there, and then started pivoting pretty quickly to help the communities as well. So it was just a storm like that is very, very difficult to keep up with.
Yeah, you don't often see 4-inch-an-hour snowfall rates
Or
sustained
more.
for hours after hours. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about your boss, Phil Ing. He's a pretty busy man nowadays. He's holding down the fort in 2 pretty big jobs. He's the general manager of the T, and he's the acting secretary for MassDOT, the state's transportation secretary. He's held both roles now for almost 6 months, since October. Is this structure working? And do you think it's really possible for one man to do both of these jobs for an ongoing basis?
So I'll say this, is that it's not necessarily my decision to make on how that is going to end
is
up.
your boss.
Yeah, but we have a lot of really good people at MassDOT and at the MBTA, really strong leadership team. We are all working together to keep things moving, and I think the results speak for themselves. Is that transportation in Massachusetts over the last 6 months has been pretty smooth. We haven't had a lot of issues.
Okay. Let's talk about the Cape Cod bridges, because a lot of folks, this is a pretty big price tag on this project, and it impacts a lot of folks who live both on and off the Cape. The Sagamore and the Bourne, as you well know, they're coming up on being 100 years old. They're right now about 94, 95 years old. They're considered functionally obsolete. We know the Sagamore, the money is in place for the Sagamore, correct?
Correct.
When will folks actually see shovels in the ground there?
All right, so we are starting our procurement on that also this spring. So we'll have 2 really big procurements going on this coming year, one for service plazas, one for Sagamore. That is going to take us through most of this calendar year and into next calendar year as well. So I'd expect the groundbreaking is going to be probably sometime next year, maybe late next year once we get a vendor on board.
So late 27.
I'd say late 27, and that again, that could change. We have a lot of work to do between now and that time that we do a selection, but things are well in hand. We have our permitting wrapping up this summer on both bridges. We are still pursuing money on the Bourne Bridge, so the Sagamore is going first, but our design is in place. Everything that we need is in place to get that going. So things are really moving in the right direction there.
So you mentioned the Bourne. Where does the funding stand for that? I mean, these are 2 very big projects, but the Bourne is well behind, right?
So the Bourne is going to be, if we were to get money tomorrow, we could actually pivot pretty quickly and have that one ready to go, because we've done the design, we've done the permitting, it really is the funding. As a reminder, these are federal assets. These are not state-owned bridges.
They're owned by the Army Corps of Engineers.
They're owned by the Army Corps of Engineers, but the state is putting a significant investment into them as well, because they are so important to Massachusetts economy that we need to keep those in good shape. So we still need the Fed's help. There's a lot of money that needs to be spent on both bridges. They're about each bridge, roughly speaking, is about $2 billion to replace. So we need that federal funding. We're pursuing that federal funding, and we're hoping we're going to get it.
And has this administration been easy to work with?
Well, it's a different administration. I look at transportation as being a relatively nonpartisan piece. You talk to our colleagues across the country, and it's a nonpartisan part of government. People need transportation, no matter if they're Republicans or Democrats. But yes, there's a lot of policies that any new administration, including this one, has put into place that we've been trying to navigate around.
And quickly, we know there's some houses that are in the way of the Sagamore. The state's been using eminent domain. Are you satisfied that the state has been fair to those homeowners?
Absolutely. We don't like to take homes. It's not something. It's something that we always try to avoid. It was unavoidable in this case. We are just wrapping up the takings on those properties. We've been working very closely with all of the property owners now for months. I think if we are in a really good place with them, and I think if you were to talk to them, you'd find that they're pretty happy with where things are going right now.
All right. Our conversation with Highway Administrator Jonathan Gulliver continues after the break.